So what would you say to someone who's going through a bad month or a string of bad months and doesn't see any light at the end of the tunnel?
What are your options? Like, okay, you're upside down financially, relationship went south, you got whatever those things are, your credit card debt is up, you got fired from your job. Okay, you're in a terrible situation. What are your options? What you have to do is, well, you kind of have to prioritize and execute, right? Like, okay, I got all these bad things going on in my life. What is my biggest problem right now? And you got to say, okay, I got to start with solving that problem. And you got to start to going back to I think it was the initial thing that we talked about, take action. You got to take action and move forward. And if you don't, the downward spiral doesn't end. And if you allow it to continue to go down, that's where it's going to end up. And so you just have to, what are my options? Abandon the whole thing? Like, no, that's not the option. That is not the option. What can I make better right now? And start to reassemble things and put them back together.
Small steps. I remember advice to a friend that was going through a period of low mood and was feeling bad about not being able to get out of bed and wasn't able to show up and all of this stuff. And I was like, dude, you need to literally see every single micro step. Like, you're in bed. You have gone to the bathroom a couple of times. You haven't seen sunlight in a few days. You've been ordering Uber Eats to the door and sort of looking at the floor as the fucking delivery guy arrives. Like, you need to think about getting out of bed in the most rudimentary steps possible. So what's the first thing you need to do? Well, you need to pull the covers off you. It's like, that is a step. Okay. Hey, like, that's, that's better than it was before. 1 foot out of the bed, 2 foot out of the bed, stand up, get a glass of water, put your shoe, slow.
Yeah. There's something too. So people ask me about jujitsu and they don't like to fight. They don't like the idea of it. They don't like the physical, close contact, whatever the case may be. Like, and they'll say, I don't like it. How long do I have to do it for? And one of the things that I say is, you have to do jujitsu until you submit someone while you're training with them. And the reason I say that is because if you can train long enough that you submit someone, all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, I made progress.
Yes.
I see the reward. And so do those little things, but do those little things until at the end of the day, you go, that was a pretty good day. Like, because if you just get up and, okay, well, I got out of bed and Chris said get out of the bed, but I still freaking don't like, yeah, I still feel like crap, right? Okay, well, get out and do a little bit more and do a little bit more and do a little bit more and do a little bit more. And you can stop when you get to the end of the day and you go, okay, you know what? Today was a pretty freaking cool day and I feel good. Then if you want to go back to living in the hole and ordering Uber Eats, go ahead. But at least give me the effort to make yourself have a good day.
The idea around you do BJJ until you're able to submit someone, that shows that you've been there for long enough to have made some progress. Friend made this point to me, and it's such a fucking smart point that I've never thought of, despite the fact I've lifted weights for like 20 years. Going to the gym, muscular training in the gym, is one of the only pursuits in life where during the act of doing the thing, you see the future progress of where you will be if you keep doing the thing. So if I'm trying to learn Italian with you and we're on Duolingo or whatever the fuck the app is, at no point during the process of learning Italian do I understand what it would be like in 6 months' time to be proficient in Italian. But if you go to the gym and you get a pump, you go, hey, if I keep doing this for 6 months, this is what I'll look like flat in a little while. And I think that it's such an underspoken about dynamic of training. I really think that is one of the biggest feedback loop mechanisms of why it happened. I mean, I guess in BJJ, if you just learned a particular movement and you've drilled it and drilled it and drilled it, and then you get into rolling and you're like, I've still got it. But next week you're like, where the fuck does my arm, like, I can't remember how the thing. So maybe a tiny bit like that, but I don't think there's anything else. You don't get a pump preview anywhere else on the planet except for in the gym, and I think that that's a underspoken about dynamic about why people love it.
Yeah, that being said, you don't see much progress, the next day.